possibility no WebEx class in the next Monday. Okay, because on that day I have a workshop with ECA MUMIT regarding the e-assessment. Okay, so take note and then I will confirm maybe I will inform the confirmation on the WhatsApp. Okay, because we are required to join the session, so that okay I cannot conduct the class during this time. Okay, but it's quite surprising me because the workshop to be carried out on the day that the lecturer has class. Okay, normally workshop like this will be carried out on Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday kita free kan tak ada apa-apa kelas kan. And then why not kita buat pada Tuesday, tapi tak tahulah kenapa ACA conduct that session on Monday. Tak apalah Jadi although we don't have class but the learning process still going on, and then you can utilize the time maybe for the preparation for your exam preparation, and you want to settle your coursework and so on. Tapi coursework dia yang last kali you kena hantar apa hari ni kan, kalau tak silap saya kita you punya quiz kan. Okay, tulis you got to submit today, right? Okay, tak tahu, tak ingat hari ni hari ni kot okay.
Ya, hari ni.
Ya, sebelum ke 12 malam kan. Itulah. Saya kalau bagi tarikh tu maksudnya sebelum 12 malam lah kan. Dia bagilah sedikit some apa linears ataupun leeway to you so that you can prepare. Okay. What we are going to discuss first, okay, about this one So saya dah share kat you ni kan you can see COVID-19 related guideline issued by MASBI Malaysia Accounting Standard Board. Okay, why I show this because I want to you to get knowledge some knowledge about response made by the MASBI regarding this pandemic. We know that when economic situation business activities are affected by this pandemic, of course it also has to do with the accounting part, because we know that accounting is the medium is the vehicle to record the economic activities, economic event of an entity. Okay, if you look this what we call it guideline or guidance you can see at least three you can see at least three main point here. First, must be take initiative to provide this guideline and some of the guideline come from IASB. Okay, and the second one must be also take initiative to provide Q&A. It's a part of guideline, but this Q&A actually is prepared to answer question or issue that raised by various party regarding the accounting treatment. Okay, jadi there is another initiative for Q&A, and most probably they will update this Q&A from time to time. Macam like okay, they will refer to some of the website, sometimes they prepare what we call it frequently asked question. And then you can see also from this the initiative of MASBI to provide consultancy. Although it's not mentioned here, but from my knowledge and experience, when MASBI issue guideline, technical release or something, update something, they also will provide consultation towards the apa orang kata the new announcement, the new guidance ataupun technical release, so that they can help others to gain further to gain in-depth knowledge about this thing. Okay, and there is possibility in the near future must be also we carry out workshop ataupun webinar we call it webinar sekarang ni kan, web seminar kan, webinar ataupun any session talk regarding this guideline. Jadi we can see that like other government agency or organization must be also take initiative as a regulator, accounting regulator, take initiative, okay, to provide some guidelines, consultation, and then related material about accounting treatment related to COVID-19. Okay, just to share you a little bit about what actually the accounting treatment that affects. One of them is financial instrument. Kalau you tengok sini ada few time dia mention pasal financial instrument. Okay, here macam contoh kat sini ni pun ada financial instrument. Okay, kat sini pun ada from IASB, from financial instrument. And ada juga yang berkaitan dengan leasing yang ni umum sahaja. Okay, you can see recognition revenue from sale of residential property upon enactment. Okay, I think okay, let's take one example here about the financial instrument. We know that financial instrument among the thing that really affected due to COVID-19. If I'm not mistaken, there are four. At least there are four financial instrument, type of financial instrument. First, apa ni, cash instrument. Okay, you punya cash lah, macam fixed deposit ke, and then you punya forex kan. Saya pernah cerita kat you dulu kan, pasal forex dulu company banyak main forex, bukan company je, you pun banyak main forex. Jadi, bila you hold apa ni, currency jadi dia ada some effect yang mungkin you kena recognize a loss, gain and loss from holding this currency ataupun activity of forex. Okay, in Islamic of course kita tak galakkan lah. From Islamic point of view, it's really not encourage you to play around
Dekat mana Kak Long?
ataupun use
Folder mana
currency
Kak
as
Long
the
nak share?
commodity, like the trading item sebab dia bukan trading item from Islamic perspective.
Yelah,
Dia
Kak
adalah
Long nak
medium of exchange,
nak
kata
share
currency
semua
tu.
tu.
That's why kalau you main currency ni, dia open for manipulation. Dan maybe when you are lucky, of course, okay lah. You
Cuba tekan
will
setting tu.
gain something. How about when you experience loss? Maybe a huge loss. Okay. The second instrument is a debt instrument. Okay. Macam account receivable, account payable, bank loan, bank payable, apa ni? Loan payable, loan receivable.
Kak Long
For
ni
example,
apa
you
ni?
give loan
Masukkan
to
dalam
your
satu
staff.
folder.
Okay. Your company give loan to your staff.
Benda yang Kak
So it is
apa
considered as
benda yang Kak Long nak
loan
share? Dia
receivable
kena
kan,
share
pada
yang
staff kan.
spesifik
Dia kena
one.
accept daripada company sebab dia give loan to you. You yang liability, betul tak? As a personal.
Yelah, Kak Long masukkan dalam satu
Jadi
folder.
katalah dalam contoh dalam during this COVID and also for the moratorium period
Kak Long create
yang kita
folder baru.
ada some what we call it holiday kan, for kita punya installment tu. Of course there are some effect to this instrument. Macam
Tu
bank
Kak Long
mungkin
masukkan insert semua dalam
ataupun
tu.
kita ambil mudah lah, for example your account
Lepas tu
receivable,
nanti
maybe
baru share.
you need to re-estimate about your bad debt bad debt allowance. Memang lah kat sini tulis credit loss consideration lah, apa semua nampak macam bombastic lah, tapi I think this is something to do with bad debt as well. You tahu kan, bila kita ada account receivable, kita ada some percentage of bad debt kan. Jadi during this COVID, maybe you need to recognize more bad debt ataupun some of the account receivable maybe you need to write off. Okay, bila you write off, you kena recognize dia punya loss on write off lah. You debit the loss on write off, you credit account receivable. Okay, another thing maybe you can consider time ataupun duration that you can consider as the bad debt. Ada some company yang 3 bulan tak bayar, dia ada default payment 3 months, and then we consider this account as macam bad debt lah, got problem to perform well. Ada some up to 6 months baru dia classify as bad debt. Okay, ada depending on the company. Itu among the example lah. And then kita ada instrumen tentang derivative kan. You got option lah, apa ni hari tu yang kita future contract lah, macam-macam lah. You tengok yang macam contoh saya bagi video dekat you tu kan, kita buat something yang in future but we make it now, for example future contract.
Tak
then
nampak.
we are also exposed to
Itu kan.
speculation.
Right.
Dan
Right click.
of course you need to revise this kalau ada some indications, so that you have to recognize loss or gain from that particular transaction. And
Share.
lastly, if I'm not mistaken, for instrument yang related to apa ni,
Bawah tu.
equity
Tukar.
instrument. Macam you ada some
Boleh edit ke tak?
shares ataupun stock marketable security
Bawah.
yang ada effect from this COVID-19. Jadi
Itu.
Mas B
situ.
dia give some guideline lah on that treatment lah. Okay. Macam the rest yang lain-lain tu, contoh macam leasing ni mungkin ada possibility juga
Change to any
leasing ni
tekan
dia salah satu yang quite complex juga
tekan tu.
because leasing ni kalau you
Tekan yang anyone with
the
the
contract
link
in
tu.
between, let's say you as a lessee you terminate the contract in
Dekat
between
anak
of
panah
the
tu.
apa ni leasing contract period tu,
Anyone with
there
the
are
link
possibility
tu
you
as
have to pay
editor
some
kan.
compensation jadi maybe you
Done.
need to recognize some loss, and the same goes to the lessor as well bila lessee want to
Tu
withdraw
right
from
click
the
boleh get link.
agreement sebab leasing ni selalunya dia akan take a long period kalau
Paste.
leasing macam you lease
Copy,
the
paste.
building, you lease the land ataupun factory building ataupun kita panggil plant
Dah
dia
lah.
memang akan ada effect in this sense. Dia bukan macam rental biasa leasing ni macam rental sebenarnya kalau nak tahu, tapi dia long term, dia agak critical, dia macam you give orang kata right to use.
Okay.
That's why kalau ada asset right to
Dah.
use kan, ada right to use to the lessee for a long period of time, maybe 5 years, 10 years and then kita tak boleh simply nak orang kata nak withdraw from the agreement ataupun after some time we ask our lessee to what we call it to empty ataupun to go out ataupun to cease the operation without any proper reason so everything we got to refer to the leasing contract. Jadi you tahu sekarang ni many business are not doing well, of course ada some implication to the leasing. Jadi you boleh go through lah, saya pun, kita pun bukan nak tahu satu-satu sangat, but in general we know that there are responses by Masdi regarding the COVID-19. Okay, jadi ni part and parcel of Masdi punya accountability lah ataupun rules to the profession. Okay, what else tadi pasal kelas saya dah cerita. Okay, yang ni saya dah bagi link. Okay, don't hesitate lah untuk go through dan tengoklah sikit-sikit baca pelan-pelan manalah tahu yang ni untuk for your knowledge as well in future. Okay, saya akan share habislah kat situ saya akan share kita punya discussion today lah, iaitu berkaitan dengan employee benefit. Tapi sebelum tu you tengok sekarang ni kan, dalam keadaan pandemik ni we can see that based on the new trend new cases recorded maybe for the last 2 weeks so we are far from settlement settle to combat this pandemic. If we said that we have vaccine this vaccine has yet tested on the mass people ataupun on the general public, so the effect have yet known ataupun belum diketahui lagi I heard that so many rumors about this this speculation ada rumors lah hearsay about this vaccine is not effective to some of the people dan dia akan give macam
Negative effect.
allergy effect. Bila you take this vaccine dia akan give you allergy effect. Jadi it's worry it's something to worry okay, and then our country also face political instability. So I'm very what we call it, I'm very sad to the politician, especially sorry to say lah, especially for UMNO lah. Sebab UMNO I see lately ni dia keep pushing the government, Perikatan Nasional Government to dismiss the parliament and then to hold ataupun to carry out general election in the near future. So we got so many problems now, okay, about the pandemic, and then we got big flood in some of the state in Malaysia. Okay, people are suffering now, lost their job. We are talking about benefit here, right? Okay, and then people are so eager to withdraw the money from the EPF because they don't have any other option. And I believe that some of the people actually reluctant or they are not willing to withdraw money from the EPF, Employee Provident Fund, or KWSP here kan. But when the government give allowance ataupun give permission to withdraw, of course they take this opportunity lah. And I think for most of the people, this give some relief. This can relief to them because they can use this money to settle the liabilities. Okay, some even to support the family. You know that school opening just around the corner. Okay, you also want to, so your family needs money and then ditambah lagi dengan all this political havoc instability. Tak boleh sabar ke? Saya rasa saya pun pelik lah. Apa masalahnya sebenarnya tak habis-habis and then they manipulate people Dia kata ini adalah suara rakyat lah, for the sake of the people lah. What the sake of the people you are talking about? For your sake of your personal interest sebenarnya. But you want to become a government for some reason. I don't want to mention here, but for some reason they want to become the government, to control the government. Okay? Sebab adalah sebab-sebab dia fikir sendiri apa sebab dia. Jadi it's not sincere lah in this sense. And cuma I praise to some UMNO leader because some of them are not agree with this kind of pressure to the current Perikatan Nasional. I don't say that I support what kind of government, but in this city have so many problems. So don't add more problem lah to the current situation. Orang kata jangan ditambah garam lagi lah dalam ni sebab lauk pun sudah cukup masin kan. Lauk kita dah cukup masin dah, ditambah lagi garam. Macam mana kita nak makan? Kita tak boleh. We cannot afford to have new problem here. Sabarlah kan, sabarlah. Bagilah all this Agong itu pun dah cakap dah kan. Lepas tu dia orang duk komplain ni lah. Mandat rakyat lah. Mandat apa mandat? Orang tak peduli lah siapa nak jadi leader sekarang. But we know that we want the government to help us. Whoever become the government. Tapi for the time being ni kita have to be patient lah. Kalau you ada orang-orang dalam ni yang politician sorry lah to say kan. Jadi please sebab dulu sudah banyak yang terlibat dengan politician ni politik activities ada yang sokong kerajaan, ada sokong yang saya tak kisahlah, itu is up to you lah. Tapi dalam keadaan situasi sekarang ni you should have heart to think about our people interest, the people interest, not your interest. Okay? Itulah sedikit lenteran daripada saya. Okay? Agar you terbuka minda lah, jangan you jadi jemut bila you tengok je keadaan sekarang kan, kita dah we are suffering with so many problem and then we want to add another problem. Okay, we don't know what actually the motive for this. Okay, but I know the notice based on my observation lah, tapi I don't want to mention here sebab tadi you kata saya buat satu tuduhan ni susah pula. Tapi for some people, for many people, I think they cannot accept this kind of interest lah, personal interest. Okay. So last time, okay, saya akan turn off video untuk smooth punya discussion. Okay, last time ataupun last class, we up to this lah, defined contribution plan. So I just mentioned before. I just mentioned, I mentioned just now about EPF, right? Okay, so defined contribution plan is part of post-employment benefit. Okay, so normally people withdraw this money from the EPF or pension fund or employee fund, sometimes we call it, okay, when they reach retirement age or retirement time. In Malaysia, retirement time or retirement age is 55, 56, 58, and 60. If I'm not mistaken, there are a few options you can choose. But for swasta, for private, I don't know. Maybe around 60 kot, 60. When you reach 60, so you can ni. But now the government gives some permission under I Sinar, I apa ni, I apa lagi tak, I Lestari for the people to withdraw the money because now people are suffering and then maybe they can use this money to settle their problem. Okay, but basically this EPF actually for your retirement. Okay, for me, okay, if you know, if you think that it's better you to withdraw, so you withdraw lah. You can make the application. If you think that the money is more useful or you really need that money during your retirement age, so you should hold this money in the fund. Okay, so both employer and employee make the contribution to this. So after your retirement age, you want to claim this money, okay? So whatever deal you have to go to EPF. So in this sense, your organization, your company doesn't have any obligation because this obligation can be transferred to EPF. I already mentioned to you. That's why dia ada ayat macam ni dia ada ayat dia kata, okay, if the fund does not hold sufficient asset to pay all the benefit, so you have to you have to apply this to the EPF. Let's say you don't you are not satisfied with the claim with the EPF service and so on, or maybe they don't have money to fulfill your obligation, to fulfill your claim in this sense. Maybe you can you can bring this case to the court, for example. But so far ni I never heard that people had problem to withdraw the money from the EPF because the EPF of course they have money, but sometimes it take a longer time to withdraw as I mentioned before. During sometime during adalah during siapa itu yang saya dah sebut dah dekat you during that time. Mungkin to withdraw ni takes only 1 month for example, but due to some administrative problem, maybe it takes 3 months, 4 months. Okay, jadi time is very critical kan to someone. Maybe they want to use this money to to buy a house ataupun maybe to continue the life with this money. Okay, tak tahulah depending on the people lah. Okay, and then we move to the next ni yang ni lah defined benefit plan is a part ataupun kategori under post-employment benefit. So post-employment benefit plan other than defined contribution plan. So that is the definition for the defined benefit plan. So under defined benefit plan, okay, para 13 or paragraph, you can see from the MFES 119, the entity's obligation is to provide the agreed benefit to the employee lah. Okay, problem is that the employee that have served you, okay, maybe after the retirement you promise something you promise something to your employee, so you have to continue make the contribution. Okay, maybe you give the some contribution, pension to whatever lah but based on the agreed that's why when you join the company okay, you have to understand the employment contract. Okay, don't feel don't simply accept the offer by the company without looking at the contract, without looking at the contract. So it is better you to take some time, okay, and then to read all the term and condition, including the your punya benefit plan as an employee. Okay, and then second one, actual risk. Okay, in bracket that benefit will cost more than expected. We know that when it comes to something that you have to estimate in future, of course there will be discrepancy, difference, okay, from the assumption, from the estimation. So you need to take into consideration about this, about this. let's say early estimation, let's say we take one employee early estimation for post-employment benefit. Let's say you make contract 5 years. So after the employment, you expect to pay 50,000. But due to some circumstances, changes, okay, maybe due to this COVID-19, you cannot afford to pay, 50,000, or you have to pay more than that. Let's say you have to pay more lah, senang. Example yang tu have to pay more. You estimation 50,000, okay, initial, after 5 years. But after 5 years, you realize that you got to pay 60,000. Means that additional 10,000. So you have to recognize this. I don't know. Maybe you got to recognize this one as a loss kah, ataupun additional to your you punya additional liability ke, ataupun additional expense. Tapi whatever it is, the term saja different, but the main thing is you have to pay more lah, to your employees. Depending lah macam mana how you make the treatment at the first place, okay. Mungkin you recognize immediate expense, ataupun mungkin kalau you can identify earlier yang the different tu, mungkin you can recognize as liability first, okay. You recognize expense and then you put under liability first. Ada ataupun kalau immediate punya recognition, maybe you put under expenditure and then you credit the cash, depending on the situation. But it's something to create an additional burden lah in this sense, whatever treatment that you do kan. Either you charge as a liability ke, ataupun you hold ataupun you pay in cash ke, whatever it is, after some time it will involve the cash as well, ataupun the additional burdens to you. What I'm trying to say to you is that the estimation that you make for the defined benefit plan ni, you cannot expect it will be the same that your estimation remain estimation lah. It is fantastic lah if you can make the estimation and then the actual one, the thing that you realize is 100% exactly compared to your estimation. No such thing sebenarnya. Okay. Of course there are some discrepancy or different when you make the estimation, and most of the company, of course, they worry that you have to make the additional recognition when it comes to the employee benefit plans. Sekejap saya tengok chat kok ada apa. Tak ada apa. Saya ingatkan you ada nak tanya apa-apa. Okay. Itulah lebih kurang actual ni sekejap saya cerita sikit. Lepas ni ada keluar lagi. Okay, this one Okay, defined benefit plan continue. Accounting for defined benefit plan is complex. Okay. As you can see from the video that I provide to you, that one is considered simple lah, straightforward. But we can see the complexity there. Because when it come to the recognition, okay, recognition first, and then the measurement part is the most difficult. Because we cannot simply spread out the cost throughout the period. For example, 100,000 throughout the 5 years. You cannot simply put 30,000 a year, okay, for your measurement recognition. But you have to consider other factors as well. For example, interest rate on the liabilities, and also the discounted rate, ataupun dalam kata lain kita panggil time value for money. Itu sebenarnya time value for money itu discounted rate. Discounted di sini yang sebut discounted ni sebenarnya adalah related to you punya time value for money. I believe that you have learned this in finance paper kan. Bila you have to estimate for something in future, but you have to estimate now, okay, you have to use the time value for money, manufacturing tu. Okay. Selalunya kita boleh refer saja kepada jadual tu kan, N berapa, R berapa, kalau tak silap, R tu interest rate, ataupun rate dia berapa. Okay, depending on the situation. Okay, ada kan? Ada. Ataupun you can put in your calculator pun ada. During Excel pun you boleh buat. Okay, accurate assumption are required to measure the obligation and the expense. Okay, yalah macam kita tengok pada awal hari tu, when we look at this discussion, early discussion of this paper ataupun of this topic, kita debit, expense, credit, liability. Jadi that one is considered as a obligation lah. So there is a possibility of actual gain and losses. So you make the estimation through some actual assumption. Okay. Of course, when comes to the actual one, there are some discrepancies. And gain no problem lah. For gain no problem, mana kita estimate more, but the actual one is less. Okay lah, yang tentu kita akan receive some gain from that. But what happen if we have to recognize additional expense ataupun loss in this sense? Okay, so when make the estimation, of course we want as exact as possible to the actual one. Macam kita buat costing lah kan. Kalau boleh, we want the costing yang favorable, unfavorable punya variance tu, dia very slim to antara kita punya, for example, applied overhead dengan kita punya actual one. Okay. Jadi kalau tengok isu overhead ya kan dalam tu, because overhead yang banyak kita kena buat estimation dan sebagainya. Okay. So maybe you ask me what all this actuarial. Jadi actuarial ni adalah somebody, atau kalau kita sebut actuaries, is somebody yang have ability to make estimation for the future. Those that have this kind of knowledge, normally we can find in insurance industry. Some of them become the consultant. I think some of the accounting firm also offer this kind of service. In UUM, if I'm not mistaken, there is a course called decision science ataupun sains keputusan, degree in decision science. Okay, actually they are learning about this actuaries ataupun actuaries to become actuaries. Okay, what the expertise of actuary is to make the estimation. Jadi kita can see in the insurance industry, for example, kan, bila insurance industry, kalau you take some insurance plan, okay, they want to estimate dia punya premium kan, yang payment you got to pay every month tu, dia akan put all the the detail in the template. Okay, your age, whether you have disease or not, your current salary, whatever lah, your financial stability, whatever, they will put in this template and they will get the amount. Same goes to this lah. In the real practice, if you ask me who developed the template, for some company maybe they have staff that able to develop this kind of template lah. Means that you put you set one kalau mungkin kita guna Excel saja, kita set satu template so that you can include some of the detail there, and then you will get how much you have to recognize the benefit plan for the employees. We are talking here about your all employees, not only one employees. Jadi of course we need some template lah to do that. Okay. The obligation are measured on a discounted basis because they may be settled many years after the employee then the related service. Okay. You know that kalau short term, of course we call it short term, right? Here is a defined benefit plan. Normally will takes more than 1 year to settle. For example, that I give you in the video, yang video saya bagi kat you tu, 5 tahun pada saya kan. Dia after 5 years dia expect to give some benefit, post employment benefit to amounted 100,000. Okay. Kalau tengok tiap tu dia bukan 20,000 kan, dia adjust the amount to the interest rate. Interest rate ni mana datang saya tak tahulah, dia letaklah contoh dan based on the time value for money. Okay. Lepas tu dia ada recognize dia punya current cost dan interest rate based on the accumulated opening balance, if I not mistaken. You boleh tengoklah video tu maybe first time you quite if you repeat the video 3 times 4 times, I think you can understand. Okay, you tengoklah, itu bukanlah nak tanya dalam exam pun tentang that calculation, but at least you get some idea how these actuaries, accountant, management derive the figures in this of employee benefit for post employment. Yang tu of course there are other factors to consider when it comes to this measurement. Okay, another employee benefit. So others mean others lah. Other, the other benefit. Okay. ada long-term employee benefit other than short-term and post-employment benefit, termination benefit. So we know that altogether we have 4, right? So other than that, other than 3, we consider as long-term. Okay. So if you ask me long-term, of course, at least take more than 1 years lah to settle ataupun to give this benefit to the employee to realize it. Okay, you start recognizing, but in terms of realization, okay, means that the payout, let's say the payout ataupun the payout to the employee will take some, okay, maybe 5 years, okay, after 5 years, after 6 years, and so on lah. Okay, para 153 give you example about employee benefit, or you can go to the standard to look further about this thing. First, long-term compulsory absent. You can absent, you can absent to office, such as long service or sabbatical leave. Okay, I don't know whether you heard about this sabbatical. For example, UUM dia but you lecturer lagi given special what we call special benefit lah, ataupun special absent. Okay, 1 year if you serve UUM for 8 years, that once in the 8 years you can apply 1 year sabbatical leave. Contohnya saya ni dah berapa tahun dah dengan UUM pada tahun 2000. Maksudnya almost 20 years dah saya sebenarnya dengan UUM but saya apply this. Actually I can do that. Okay, you can apply after 8 years once in the 8 years setiap 8 tahun you can apply 1 year sabbatical leave. Okay, so this sabbatical leave means that you don't have to go to your office lah. You have to go, no such thing. Okay, what you are going to do during sabbatical leave, you can propose to your management lah. For me, I can propose to you, and for example, I want to do attachment during the sabbatical leave, like the internship. You buat internship tu. I want to join any firm for my internship ataupun for my industry attachment. So after I finish this sabbatical leave, I write a report, okay, like your practical report for example, okay, and then submit to UUM about my finding ke ataupun I carry out small research over there ke, okay, so I can prepare report and then I submit to UUM management as the product, as the end product during my sabbatical leave. Okay, for the company pun ada saya rasa this kind of sabbatical leave, tapi bukanlah sabbatical ni you tak boleh buat apa-apa. Maksudnya you take this sabbatical and then you boleh goyang kaki tidur kat rumah tahun ni bayar gaji no lah. You got to do something lah. Maybe kalau company dia give you sabbatical leave, maybe you can you can utilize that time untuk to find out the new customer ke, atau create customer ke kan. You ke dekat you punya customer jadi bila you nak supply barang dekat dia about their specific requirement and so on lah. And then second, ada long service benefit. Ini you pernah dengar kot silver jubilee, gold jubilee ke, jubilee perak, jubilee emas semua tu kan, sambutan dan sebagainya. Okay, maybe after some time jubilee untuk perak saya tak ingat berapa silver jubilee berapa, 15 tahun dah, 20 tahun katalah silver jubilee 20 years. So once in the 20 years akan bagi something yang sure to the employees, maybe extra bonus, extra incentive, ataupun dia give komputer ke handphone, free handphone to the employees. Okay, depending on the need. Okay, and then we got long term disability benefit. Maybe during your service, okay, you get injured, and then the company promise to give you your loyalty, okay, your loyalty to the company, okay, and then you become disabled because during your serving to the companies, after, let's say, after your retirement or during the service as well. Maybe the company will give you some benefit. Maybe they will support your physiotherapy cost. Let's say you ada injek kat mana-mana kaki tersengit sikit ke apa ke, dia akan bagi physiotherapy punya treatment and then the company will pay for that. Ataupun you got cancer ke, you got cancer, who knows kan. Sekarang ni kan banyak cancer, orang kena cancer kaki, cancer prostat lah. Okay, kalau perempuan kanser payudara banyak, kanser rahim. Saya meninggal dunia, pass away a few years ago, dia kena kanser payudara. Kadang-kadang pun saya pun heran juga, datang mana kanser payudara ni kan. Jadi kita tengok banyak wanita, jadi you kena go and check lah untuk to ensure that you don't have this cancer. Ada juga orang muda-muda yang terkena kan benda ni, macam orang kanser prostat dan sebagainya. Takut ada efek dekat punya dan sebagainya. Nanti you kahwin, nanti you nak serve your wife lagi kan. Lepas tu you nak ada zuriat dan sebagainya. So it's better for you to go and check. Tapi let's say lah, kalau you got cancer kan during the time you serve the company, okay, so the company will pay for you lah, dialisis lah. Contoh lain tu macam dialisis ke kan. Some company they will support the dialysis. My father last time, my late father tu memang dia have to undergo the dialysis. They got kidney problem, heart problem, kidney problem, so many things dia undergo this dialysis, but because my father was Felda punya civil servant, was in Felda last time, okay, dia serve.
Kami nak pergi dah.
Dia macam tu. Tapi di government tak, government dia static. Dia kalau, tapi yang baru ni only 30 days. Yang baru ni if you join the government 30 days. Okay, tapi kalau yang lama-lama lah, macam saya serve the government, entitled to get 35. Bonus government dia static. Okay, macam this January lah, you will get 600 incentive lah. 600 ringgit incentive lah. Jadi boleh lah guna duit tu untuk beli barang anak-anak sekolah dan sebagainya lah. Tapi memang tak cukup lah sebenarnya. Jadi 600 tu bukan tak bersyukur, tapi sebenarnya tak cukup. Tak tahulah, government pun maybe don't have any financial capability lah untuk ni. Last time yang paling tinggi pun 1 bulan ke 1 bulan bonus macam tu ke? Masa Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi masa tu maybe. After that tak ada dah. Dan normal practice kan 500 je, tapi for the PM government, Perikatan Nasional Government, dia give additional 100 lah. Ada we got 600 flat. Semua orang dapat benda yang sama saja. Start daripada the lower level sampailah the upper level until grade 56 tak salah saya. Grade 56. Okay. After grade 56 tu you akan dapat JUSA lah. JUSA, dia start dengan JUSA C, JUSA B, JUSA A. Lepas tu turus 3, turus 2, turus 1. Macam tu lah dia punya grade dia. Tapi nak sampai level tu susah lah. Turus 1 ni macam ketua setiausaha negara, the Secretary of Government lah. Tu ada seorang, ada satu je jawatan tu di Malaysia. Macam ketua polis negara apa semua tu mungkin turus 1, turus 2 macam tu lah. Turus 2, turus 3. Kalau UUM, you become professor, dia akan dapat, dia start dengan JUSA C dia panggil. Jawatan Utama Sektor Awam C. Okay, ataupun in English we call it Special Grade C. Gaji campur allowance more than 10,000 lah. Lebih kurang 12 ke 13 ribu macam tu lah. Profesor Madya 54 grade. Macam saya kanan 52. Grade 52 di government. Okay. Jadi grade pun ada some, ada some influence towards your benefit as well. Kalau saya nak cerita ni akan ambil masa lagi lah. Tak apalah, nanti you kerja, nanti you tengoklah, sebab kita ada satu lagi kan, termination benefit. So, as I mentioned before, because the name of the benefit is long term, it also reflects something that means that you are not expected to settle this wholly or all in between the 12 months. Okay. Before 12 months, okay, wholly before 12 months after the end of annual reporting period in which the employee rendered the related service. Means that kalau tahun 2020 in 2020 punya benefit, so paling lewat pun next year before December lah, you got to settle. Tapi I mention to you, kalau yang short term tu normally kita settle as soon as possible. Kalau boleh cepat-cepat kita settle. Jangan tunggu sampai masuk new accounting year and then baru you nak settle. Okay? Unless you cannot avoid it. But in this sense, long term of course is long term more than 12 months lah. Okay? Memang sebut macam ni lah, nampak macam 24 bulan kan, tapi pada pendapat saya lah, kalau you tengok practice, the normal practice, you need to settle as soon as possible. Don't wait you enter, don't wait you to recognize ataupun you settle after 12 months. Maksudnya within accounting period tu you settle lah. Kalau gaji bulan 12 lah, paling last sekali you settle lah. Mungkin bonus sajalah you will settle in next year lah. Maybe January, February after you close the account. Saya ingat paling cepat pun mungkin bulan 3 lah. Kalau you tengok trend macam TH, tabung haji, dia give dividend in March ataupun April each year. Dia akan credit to the depositor account lah. Means that they will take some time lah untuk declare tu. Tapi of course they have the provision earlier. Kita tak tahulah sebenarnya. Provision dia dah buat dah sebenarnya on the dividend tu. Cuma banyak dengan sikit lah. Selalu provision ni kita buat lebih sikit lah. Katalah kita nak bayar 5% dividend, mungkin provision kita buat 6% macam tu lah. Kita buat lebih sikit. We worry that nanti kita akan ada problem kan. Tapi lately ni dividend untuk ASB ke ASN ke nampak not very attractive lah. Maybe you got to find something else for your investment. ASB ke, tapi tabung haji ni jelah for Muslim, of course they want to save to go for Hajj for haji lah. Tak tahu lah, depends on you lah. Most importantly dia adalah yang halal lah, yang syariah compliant. Whatever investment you want to make sure they are Sharia compliance. Okay, lastly, termination benefit. Termination bukan terminator, termination. Termination means that you terminate lah, you want terminate your employees lah, or you are being terminated, ataupun you are to be terminated by your employer, your company. Okay. Okay, when you want to terminate someone or you are got terminated by your employee, you entitle some of benefit. Okay, so please, my friend, don't simply you terminate or you what we call you sack your employee just like that without giving any benefit, because they are human also, they are human like us. If you dislike or you really hate haters kau. So banyak sangat perkataan yang berbausan you are so many haters and then people want to kick out your employees from the company tapi as an employees for your employees, you should have heart to think about the welfare, okay, to sympathy at least not to the employee, but you have to think about the families as well. Okay, you know that when you terminate someone they have spouse, they have wife, they have husband, they have children to support. Okay, so bear in mind don't simply you terminate your employee without considering any benefit to them. If you ask me based on my previous experience and experience with my friends for the company, if they want to terminate someone normally they will give at least 3 months salary in advance. Okay, maksudnya kalau katalah dia bagi surat termination letter to you this month kata Januari so they will give you salary for this month and then additional 3 months salary for your compensation ataupun termination benefit. So at least you got some money to survive to survive and then to find new job ataupun to do something else for your life, for your living. Jadi janganlah you buang orang saja dia macam just like that without any compensation. Okay, ini untuk future jugalah kalau you become employer one day sebab kadang-kadang kita menyampah dekat dia kita cakap Melayu kadang-kadang kita menyampah kat employee tu, tapi you nak menyampah pun agak-agak lah sebab dia pun ada anak dan bini yang nak ditanggung. Kalau dia ada ramai bini lagilah bini-bini yang nak ditanggung. Macam mana dia nak beri nafkah pada anak-anak dia dan bini-bini dia susah juga. Jadi you kena ada hati perut juga lah, you have heart lah, jangan you don't have heart ataupun you don't have heart ke apa. Tengok keadaan lah kan, Mak Saleh sebut macam tu kan. Ada hati tu tak ada hati lah, you nak take this kind of news. Okay, then make sure you have you have done a proper a process before you terminate that employee. Let's say the employee have disciplinary problem. Okay, so make sure you have to follow the procedure lah before you terminate. Kalau tak if the employee bring this case to the court so there is a possibility you have to pay the additional compensation. So last time saya pun ada juga case macam tu, masa saya duduk resign dulu. Company dia tak ikut really the procedure, dia punya timing dia tu untuk dia discharge ataupun terminate this employee. Lepas tu employee ni bawa pergi kepada industrial court. Bila court check dia tak ikut dia tak follow procedure nak terminate macam warning letter, lepas tu first warning letter, second warning letter kan, ada tak you bagi, lepas tu jarak di antara warning letter tu adalah a few, ada tak you bagi dia counselling ke apa, tak ada. Dan lah company kena bayar additional compensation to this employee, dan the company have to re-employ this kind of this fellow, this employee kena ambil balik kerja tu. Tapi employee saya tak masuk dah lah, dia pun malas dah, tak jumpa you pula kan, bergaduh pula. Macam tu lah lebih kurang. Okay, so there are two situation lah here kalau you tengok. Mana pula saya punya ni. Okay, there are two situation lah. Maksud first, entity decision to terminate an employee employment ataupun kontrak before the normal retirement date. Okay, maybe apa kita nak cakap maybe you don't like the employee ataupun you want to downsize the operation, okay, you want to reduce the number of staff, okay, so you terminate your employee before that, before the normal retirement date. As I mentioned before, in Malaysia kalau government in Malaysia for the government, the retirement age is 55, 56, 58, 60. They fall under that lah. And then employee decision to accept voluntary redundancy in exchange for those benefits. Okay, ada juga some situation, okay, some situation employee offer to the employee the VSS, okay, voluntary separation scheme. If you have heard before, I think I have mentioned to you before this about bank normally offer the VSS to the employee. Okay, in this sense, okay, employee got option to take or not this VSS or termination benefit. I got one friend before this he was in Bank Muamalat, hold position as assistant manager or manager, something like that, okay, and then after some time the bank open for VSS and they take this opportunity to take this VSS. So I asked him why he took this VSS. He said to me that, well, first because of the KPI he cannot stand with the pressure to achieve the KPI. And the second one, the VSS is quite good. It's something good to consider orang kata to consider to take this opportunity. I think he got more than 100,000 for the termination. Okay. Saya rasa lebih pada tu. Saya rasa 200,000 ada kot dia dapat 200,000 about the VSS. What he did he took the VSS and then he take some of the money pursue study doctorate degree, okay, and then after get the doctorate degree he joined UEM as a lecturer. So he got money, okay, and then he got a new job as well. Jadi tengoklah based on the perancangan based on your planning, tengoklah macam mana kan. Sometimes we need to take a break lah kan. Kita mungkin dah rasa macam we cannot stand with the situation, the pressure every day we face the same thing. We want to find something new, some new experience in our life, and then we can consider to take this VSS. Okay. Normally VSS ni agak atraktif jugalah, dia punya offer tu. That's why for some people dia take this opportunity. Okay. Tapi you kena tengoklah. You kena tengoklah apa ni, you have to wait lah cost versus benefit. Okay. Whether it is better you to stay ataupun you to take this VSS. But in the first case A tadi, you got no option because you are selected to be terminated. Okay. So last time we got satu talk dengan Samadila daripada Nazar, tahu tak? Dia ceritalah dekat student, dia punya top management ask him to to downsize the office lah. Saya tak ingat apa dia punya department tu. Okay, dia kata dia tak ada hati nak buat tu. Dia kata dia tak sampai hati, they don't have a heart to retrench ataupun to set the employee. Katalah dia kena pilih 10% daripada pekerja tu untuk di retrench, to retrench 10% let's say. Dia tak sampai hati. Tapi you say, you know that what the top management said to him, kalau you fail to identify that 10%, your name will be put in the list. Maksudnya kalau you tak mampu nak identify that 10% yang you want to retrench, means that your name will be in the list, mean that part of the 10% to be set by the company. You nak buat macam mana? You nak pentingkan diri you kan, you pentingkan diri orang lain. You tak mampu nak identify siapa nak buang, nama you akan dibuang lagi. You akan dibuang lagi daripada pekerjaan tu. Tu very cool. Very cool. This kind of capitalist punya ekonomi. They unable to make the profit ataupun they wants to maximize the profit. Sometimes they will do whatever it is, okay, in order to achieve that target. Okay. So first ni you got no option lah. Kalau nama you ada dalam list tu, you kena terminate lah. Tapi make sure lah, at least you got something lah for your living before you can start the new life. Macam like now, masa during COVID ni kan macam-macam kan, orang kena buang kerja lah apa semua kan. Gaji tak ada. Contoh saya bagi tahu kat you, my sister kan, she is in apa ni, Boeing ASEAN Composite factory dekat Bukit Kayu Hitam tu. Dia account department, my sister. Dia graduated from UM juga. Dia jadi finance exec. Dia kata kat saya pun terkejut. Rupanya dia kena salary cut 20% daripada Boeing. Ataupun kat Malaysia ni kita panggil ASEAN Composite. Dia buat komponen for Boeing punya for Boeing punya airplane tu. Dia kena salary cut 20%. Banyak tu 20%. Dia kata what to do? Dia kata kalau tidak, dia kata the company cannot sustain the operation. They have to cut 20%. Kalau gaji you 6,000 lah, maksudnya 20%, 1,200 tu kena cut setiap bulan. Aku bayangkan. Kalau banyak komitmen macam mana? Ada nak bayar kereta, nak bayar rumah lagi, anak nak masuk sekolah lagi. So all this kan dia akan create pressure. Tu yang banyak orang sakit mental tu. Kau tengok kat Malaysia ni pun start people commit suicide. Many people intend to commit suicide. Jadi don't do like that lah. Of course for any problem there is a solution lah. Jangan short thinking jangan short thinking and take something yang can cause problem to yourself and to your family saja. Ingat dengan you bunuh diri tu boleh selesai masalah ke tak kan? Kita tak tahu lagi macam mana kan. Bila kita mati nanti what happen to us, what happen to our family. Cuba renung muka bini you, muka isteri you, muka suami you, muka anak-anak you, muka you punya parent before you do something yang you want to do something bad in your life. Okay? A termination benefit is given only in the exchange for the termination of the employment. Maksudnya yang ni dia akan derive or emerge during the termination ni lah period ataupun termination time. Selalunya if you ask me, normally we not make any prior ataupun advance recognition for this termination benefit. Means that when we have to do this and then we start recognizing the termination benefit. Okay. A benefit that is dependent on providing service in future is not a termination benefit. So yang ni yang kaitan yang saya beritahu tadi, it has something to do with that I just mentioned to you just now. Okay, means that we not make in advance in this sense in advance provision because it is cruel ataupun it is unethical for the company to make the provision for the termination benefit in advance if the company have good financial position. Okay, but in this sense I think during this pandemic kalau you nak buat some advance ataupun some early recognition about the termination benefit, of course the decision to terminate have been made by the management lah. Contohnya macam katalah tahun lepas bulan Disember tu management have made decision to terminate some of the employees. Maksudnya dah ada lah kan, benda tu, decision tu dah ada. Pada ketika itu barulah mungkin you start to recognize this termination benefit and you will realize it in the near future. Mungkin bulan 1, bulan 2 ni you start dah buang orang. Okay. Jadi kalau company tu tak ada masalah, tak ada, there is no problem at all, economic boom for example, okay, company financially healthy, why you want to recognize termination benefit? Kan? Tak logik kan? No need to do that kan? Ini untuk bila ada masalah saja kan? Dan we expect to settle as soon as possible as well lah. Jadi kalau you buang orang, you kena bagi cepat-cepat lah termination benefit. Takkan nak tunggu sampai 5 tahun baru nak bagi. Habis tu kawan nak makan apa? Kan? Macam mana dia nak support dalam family dan sebagainya. Jadi dalam kita think about achieving the company objective, goals dan sebagainya, at the same time we also have we should have humility aspect. We have to consider that empathy, sympathy to other people. Okay, don't be so cruel in this sense. Because what you give you, apa orang kata? What you give, you will get back, kan? Dia ada give and take in this life. Kalau you make something yang back to the people, so the back will return to you one day. You realize or not. Jangan buat nanya ke orang. Termination benefit ni. Counting juga, tapi I advise you not to think about. Kalau boleh kita try to be professional lah. Kalau our staff got problem, for example, kita use the proper channel. Kita nasihat dia elok-elok, kita bagi surat amaran. Tak masuk juga. Tapi kalau company this share for you lah. Ada masa lagi Ada masa sikit lagi company selalunya dia akan buat provision period. Kalau early bila dia employ you, dia akan give you provision period maybe 1 year, 2 years, okay, to observe your discipline. Jadi kalau during the provision period tu dia found that you are not fit to serve the company, dia akan terminate you. Okay, tapi dari segi benefit tu saya tak tahu lah macam mana, sebab dia bukan permanent. Selalunya dia akan bagi temporary status daripada you. Dia akan buat provision, tempoh percubaan lah dalam sebenarnya. Provision period mungkin dalam 1 tahun, 2 tahun. Okay, kalau dia tengok you tak fit, dia akan terminate you. Okay, jadi be careful lah. Tapi ada kat orang masa provision period dia okay, masuk jadi permanent staff, dia start buat perangai. Ada juga tu, datang kerja lah, apalah. Jadi macam-macam. Kalau you got problem as an employee, you share with your employer lah what your problem. Macam saya ni untuk you lah, saya nasihat you. For example, kalau you go to internship, kalau you got problem dengan your employee, or you have personal matters ataupun family problem ke whatever, I think it's better to discuss properly, convince your employer that you got problem. Don't simply just absent to the ni. Ada satu employer tu dia call me up, lepas tu dia marah kat saya lah tu. Dia kata apa hang punya student macam ni. Saya pun UM kat dulu, kenapa dia buat perangai ni, aku pula yang kena marah dengan dia. Bila kita telefon student ni, dia kata mak dia sakit. Lah mak dia sakit, hang bagi tahu lah. Yang hang pergi mana hilang tak tahu. Saya kata why not you contact your employer. Kata you inform you got problem, and then kalau employee tu suruh you replace you punya absent tu kan, hari yang you tak datang tu, you replace lah after that, after the internship punya ni, ataupun you cut you punya allowance ke, ataupun you buat OT ke. Tolonglah. Saya selalu employer call saya kata macam ni kan. Jadi saya pun rasa susah hati lah tengok perangai macam ni kan. Jadi hopefully you jangan buat perangai macam tu. Jadi dia akan give some implication to the future student, some bad perception to that. Okay, lastly this is the last slide and also the last discussion for chapter 7. Okay, kita habis sebenarnya hari ni. Okay, issue in determining the value of employee benefit. I think that either directly or indirectly I have touched these two issue, complexity in estimating employee benefit, and also something that involve the long-term judgment. So first, estimating the liability are complex. Okay, see the present value of future liability of employee benefit. For instance, pension, and then post-employment benefit, ada long term also, you need to calculate here. You need to estimate here, ataupun now. Okay, for example, let's say I employ you today, so I have start to recognize your benefit, your employee benefit for the future. And I got to assume that you will serve this company, after your retirement age. Okay, takkanlah saya nak estimate you serve for the 5 years saja kan, ataupun for the 10 years. Of course I will make the estimation you will serve this company until your retirement time lah. Okay, therefore the liability involve many actuarial calculation, as I mentioned before. There are so many interest rate you have to consider, the inflation rate, and then the minimum salary from the government, for example. You cannot set the benefit or the basic salary in your calculation below the minimum salary. Now in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, the minimum salary is 1,100, 1,100 kan? 1,100 tak silap saya. Kalau di Sabah Sarawak tak silap saya 1,000 kot. Saya rasa agak sedikit sebenarnya, betul tak? Tapi bila dia nak naik, bila government want to announce this minimum salary, we can see that employer reluctant to accept. They said that they will incur additional cost. Ini yang pelik ni. Kan? Tengok kaya nak mampu. Itulah orang Kedah apa kata kaya nak mampu kan. Kaya nak mampu itu kaya sangat lah. You can see from the social media kan. Ada pakai Mustang lah. Ada pakai Bentley lah. Owner sana, owner sini, rumah juta-juta. Nak bayar gaji pekerja 1,100 tak ada duit. Itu yang pelik tu. Lepas tu pun kata government ni tak concern lah dengan dia punya cost lah dan sebagainya. And then they transfer the cost to the end user kan. They increase the price. The price of the good and services. Okay, kita juga dalam contoh tu tak ada. Tapi dalam nota ni saya just to mention you. Okay, contohnya salary growth. Macam contoh tu kita static saja. Maknanya for each year tu kita assume dia 20,000 lah. For 5 years amounted 100,000, okay? Tapi in the real sense, in the real situation, the increment of the salary tu akan influence juga the benefit, okay? Macam government, increment saya every month, every year saya akan naik lebih kurang 290 lah. Saya punya increment rate RM290 satu tahun saya akan naik. Saya punya basic salary. Kalau government, kalau private, dia depending on the company dan your performance as well. Ada yang naik sampai 10%, 12% from the last salary, depending on your performance. Kalau management suka dengan you perform well, dia akan offer you better salary increment dan sebagainya lah. Okay, employee turnover juga, kita ambil kira tengok berapa persen kat company kita tu 5% ke, selalu orang turnover tinggi ke. Okay, dan juga cost of living adjustment. Nak cakap sini pun saya pun tak tahu sangat lah. Apa benda yang ada dalam actuarial punya assumption tu banyak sebenarnya. Economic condition lah, KDNK mungkin dia ambil kira juga dan sebagainya. In calculating the measurement for employee benefit. Okay, and then involve professional judgment, long term one. We know that this kind of judgment ni dia akan also relate to the earning management kan. Okay, the judgment can be seen through the following example, but not limited. Estimated length of working career. It is impossible to know how long an employee will work for an organisation. Jadi kadang-kadang kita rasa dia nak kerja lama, tapi tengok keadaan 3 tahun dia berhenti. Ada setengah tu masuk 2 bulan ni hilang, tahu gimana. Okay, some dia mungkin dia akan they want to serve the company, but maybe they have to follow the spouse. Katalah spouse dapat kerja kat Dubai ke kan, macam perempuan lah kan, dia kahwin, husband dia kaya, ada bisnes kat Dubai Irfan Ghairi contohnya, husband ni Irfan Ghairi. Dia pergi ke Dubai kan, duduk Dubai. Betul, you pun pergi duduk Dubai sekali. You pun kerja kat sana. Ada juga some of my wife friend dia works over there in Dubai. Memang dia punya pay cukup tinggi punya sana, tapi cost of living pun tinggi. Cuma saya tanya juga orang-orang yang pergi Dubai ni, katanya lah dia orang tak tahulah, ada nurse lah apa pergi sana. Dia kata walaupun cost of living tinggi, okay, gaji tinggi lah kan, cost of living tinggi, tapi masih berbaloi lagi kalau you nak pergi ke sana. Masih berbaloi. And then you have to manage lah, janganlah makan dekat 5-star hotel kan. Maybe you have to find ataupun you cook, you do home cooking you masak kat rumah je lah. Okay. Tak payahlah untuk ni bermewah-mewah kan. Ada orang pergi sana macam nurse, dia akan serve macam 2 tahun 3 tahun pergi sana kan, kontrak. Lepas tu dia balik Malaysia, boleh simpan 100,000, 200,000, boleh beli rumah, boleh beli kereta cash. Masuk lah. Okay. Macam accountant pun banyak saya dengar yang go to Singapore. Singapore dia punya pay better than Malaysia lah. Kalau you nak serve. Cuma kalau you ada some feeling of to serve for the country, you tak pergilah kan. Okay. Because you masuk UEM pun government supply kan, government dia support you through subsidy taxpayer money. Kalau you simply nak pergi serve for the Singapore yang benefit lah from your productivity. Kalau personal interest of course lah kan. Tapi kalau macam UEM ni, you tahu kan, you bayar pun sikit sebenarnya for your fee, for your education fee tu sebenarnya sikit je. 20% je you bayar daripada total fee lebih kurang. 80% tu subsidized by the government. It's almost free sebenarnya. Lepas tu bila you dah graduate, you become accountant, then you serve Singapore. Jadi bagi saya tak berapa syok sikit lah kan. Tak apalah kalau for the time being ni mungkin you serve for Malaysia dulu lah kan. Untuk 3 tahun, 4 tahun. Lepas tu after sometime you dah senior sikit, you rasa you better to go there, then tak apalah, itu you punya pilihan lah. Tapi tak adalah, ini saya punya feeling je lah. It's up to you lah, you nak kerja kat mana kan, Afrika ke mana kan, it's up to you. Okay. And then length of time employee will receive monthly retirement benefit. So it is impossible to know how long employee will live after they retire. Ini pun kita tak tahu. Tapi lifespan for Malaysian sekarang lebih kurang 70 something lah kot. Perempuan hidup lebih lama kalau berbandingan. Lifespan for woman is greater than men. Sebab orang lelaki dia lebih pendek umur dia. Sebab orang lelaki banyak kena heart attack. Salah satu sebab dia tahu kan kenapa orang lelaki pendek umur. Sebab orang lelaki ni dia tak ada period. Dia tak ada period macam orang perempuan. Jadi penyakit banyak. Orang perempuan dia ada period. Dia ada menstruation apa benda tu. Menstruation time kan. Yang you discharge you punya blood tu, your blood tu, dia punya cycle of the blood tu, you discharge every month. Kalau you rasa pening kepala dan sebagainya, tapi it's for you lah. Tapi orang lelaki ni tak ada benda tu. Jadi darah yang ada dalam ni dah, kalau saya dah 40-an ni, dah 40 tahun dah duduk darah ni dalam diri saya. Kalau kotor-kotor lah darah tu. Tapi for woman dia ada some cycle yang God dia special for woman lah. God dia give to the woman, dia boleh cycle tu. That's why kalau you tengok orang lelaki lebih mudah terkena penyakit berbanding orang perempuan. One of the reason because of that. Okay, lifestyle tu is another story lah. Nak cerita pun panjang juga kan. Okay. Retirement payout assumption. Okay, it is difficult to know what type of payout option employee will select because their beneficiary status may change over the time. Yang ni saya rasa yang something to do dengan maybe ada some employee dia nak all the benefit tu goes to the employee itself. Dia punya option. Ada some of the employee dia nak give to maybe 50% to him ataupun to her. Another 50% to the spouse. Ada juga yang macam tu. Okay. Ada some of the employee dia 50% tu dia not go to the spouse, goes to the parent. Ada juga macam tu. Jadi all this dia akan effect kita punya judgement. Macam mana kita nak calculate all this. Yalah, berbeza kan. Ada yang nak bagi family pula ada ramai kan. Ada orang anak 5 orang, adik-beradik dia ada yang 3 orang. Jadi semua ni akan memberi kesan in term of macam mana we want to make this estimation ataupun judgement. Sebab kita need to calculate kan. Kita kena ada some assumption. Dia ni berapa orang, kita nak spread out this money kat berapa orang. Dia ni berapa persen, abang dia berapa persen nak dapat, bini dia berapa persen. Semua ni akan ada effect to our assumption dan juga at last kita punya measurement. Okay? Saya rasa dah panjang lebar dah saya cerita ni. So that's all lah for today. Okay. So that's all lah untuk kita punya topik. So alhamdulillah lah we managed to finish up our discussion. Altogether 7 topic. And then while I was sharing the ni and then itulah next week on Monday tu saya ingat nak bincang-bincang sikit pasal kita punya ni lah, yang apa-apa yang kita tak bincang dulu. Tapi nampak kayaknya tak mampu lah macam tu. Saya rasa memang jadilah kalau ikut email tu jadilah. We got session with the HA. Tapi nanti saya akan inform sekali lagi dalam WhatsApp about the confirmation. Okay. Jadi for the time being ni bolehlah tengok-tengok balik nota, artikel-artikel yang saya bagi tu. Okay. Kurang-kurangnya you familiar lah apa yang ada dalam artikel tu. Lagi kalau you tak buka langsung, you tak tahu pula apa benda yang ada dalam tu kan. So kurang-kurangnya you glance lah sekali. You baca lah sekali. Lepas tu, you boleh tahulah apa isi dia dalam tu. Mana lah tu ada soalan yang dia nak ambil pada artikel. So you dah tahulah benda tu ada dalam artikel. Okay. Jadi ni memang ada masalah sikit dengan connection. Okay, you can start scanning your attendance. Okay, thank you very much to everyone. Okay, thank you Divya. Okay, Priya Dashini. Okay, nama panjang. Okay, thank you to everyone. Ada apa masalah, just contact me lah. Tak ada masalah. Okay.